안녕. Let me take a look at those three questions that you asked. State the equation of the graph. 여기 보면 answer choices가 다 코사인으로 돼 있기 때문에 일단은 we will be looking for cosine. Cosine graphs start 일단 highest point에서 시작해서 goes the lowest value and then highest y value. So that could be one period. Then means first of all, I would just cross out something that wouldn't make sense. 여기에서 보면 지금 everything except for the first one has 2 multiplied to theta. And when I look at it, the period really is just pi, not 2 pi. So the first one is not going to be the answer. And looks like all the vertical shift has been -2, and then you can see the midline is -2. So that's just that. All we have to define is which one is going to be the correct phase shift. And I see that it starts from pi over 2 right there. 그러면은 that means that you move this, it has been moved to the right 2, pi over 2. Oh, but I don't see that. So then also I can say that it went to the left pi over 2. There is another one period. So pi over 2. Right there, that will be the answer. So really, 2 things. One, process of elimination. Process of elimination means you cross out things that doesn't make sense right away, and things that are completely different than others, easily you can identify that it's not going to be the answer. And the second, multiple choices 보면 the rest are the same, but except for one feature, then you only want to look at that feature. So you're going to start with 이것도 vertical shift가 똑같고, also the period all are the same, like 2 is multiplied, so all the periods are going to be the same. So you don't want to look at that. You want to look at the phase shift. That will be the fast way to solve the question. And let me pause and move on to the next. Now the next question. Which question does not represent the graph? Now this could be a little harder to identify, but that means that 이거는 여러 가지 possibility가 있는데 그 중에서 나머지 다 3개 빼고는 하나만 잘못됐다는 거니까. 그래서 we need to look at cosine, we need to look at sine, we need to look at the cosine graph that has multiplied by negative. We need to look at all 4 different possibilities, but that's fine. We can do it one at a time. Now let's take a look. 이게 지금 보면 기본적으로 cosine graph인데 뒤집어져 있는 것 같아. If you don't look at the phase shift, it starts from the lowest y value, and then goes up and then goes back down. So without any phase shift, it will be cosine, but there is a negative multiplied to it because it's flipped around. It starts from the lowest value and then ends with the lowest value. Let's see. The midline is 2, so everything has to have plus 2. That's the case. There's nothing you can get rid of from that. 그리고 지금 that's the vertical shift. 그리고 그다음에 amplitude. Midline is 2, and then from midline to the lowest or the highest is a half. So everything has to have a half for the amplitude. 그지? 그러면 다 맞네. 일단은 근데 코사인이라고 하면은 it was supposed to be without any phase shift, start from the negative, so negative. Start from the lowest, so negative. So this one's right. If that was just cosine without multiplied negative, then it should start from the highest value. And looks like, yeah, the phase shift is negative 180. Yeah, that is right. Because if this was the starting point, that is cosine, right? And now, sine. Sine graph는, let's see. sine이면은 여기서부터 시작을 한다고 볼 수가 있겠고, going up or and back up. You could start from here too. That's gonna be sine or 90. So the phase shift has to be 90 to the right or 270 to the left. So you are supposed to either adding 270 or subtracting 90. The first one looks like the right here, the blue part that I shaded. So that would be it. The last one. Why is the last one incorrect? sine이고 뒤집어져 있으면은 그러면은 it should start from some point and then not going up but going down, going back up. 그래서 90. If you're gonna add, then you have to add 90 to make this sine upside down. But it was adding during the 60, which is gonna be cosine graph. If you start from the lowest point, it just looks like a cosine graph. So that's not it. Okay. And then the last question. Again, immediately, I think the first one is not going to be the answer because everything else, the amplitude says 2, but the first one's 4. And let's check. So the midline right there is at 1. And then you can see that amplitude is 2. So first one, nope. And now I'm looking at the rest. All are 2, the amplitude is 2, and all phase shift, not the phase shift, period is multiplied 4, so it must be pi over 2. Vertical shift, all are the same. All we need to identify really is the phase shift. That's the only difference. 그럼 phase shift 보면 sine이니까 I will start from the midline and then go up and down and up. 그러면은 the phase shift must be right here pi over, what is it? pi가 4등분이니까 pi over 4, right? So it was supposed to be subtracted by pi over 4. If this were to be going to the left, then it must be adding pi over 4. This one says pi over 8. No, pi over 4 it has to be. So the answer is the second one. So the only feature that is different than the rest of the answer choices, you need to really take a look at the phase shift because that's the only difference. 그러니까 amplitude고 period고 midline이고를 신경 쓸 게 없었던 거지. 진짜 you need to look at the phase shift. 그렇게 process elimination 하고 다른 것만 딱 이제 찝어내서 그것만 비교를 해주면 그러면은 조금 더 빨리 찾을 수 있는 방법이 될 거야. Okay.